We respectfully acknowledge the land on which we gather as the ancestral homeland of the Beothuk, whose culture has been erased forever. We also acknowledge the island of Dahumguk as the unceded traditional territory of the Beothuk and the Mi'kmaq.
Hello everyone. Gwe. Bonjour. Ndewano. Hola. Ladies and gentlemen, distinguished guests, fellow film enthusiasts, family and friends. On behalf of the graduating class of 2023, it is with great pleasure that I welcome you to this year's final film festival. I stand before you today as a testament to our unwavering commitment to the art of filmmaking. Throughout our journey, we have poured countless hours of hard work, attention to detail, and unyielding passion into the creation of the films you are about to see. Each frame has been meticulously crafted, and we take immense pride in our dedication to the craft. As the lights dim and the stories unfold on screen, we hope our work will touch your hearts, ignite your imagination, and challenge your perspectives. From gripping dramas, captivating documentaries, and thought-provoking experimental pieces. So, without further hesitation, we extend our deepest gratitude for your presence here today. Your support, enthusiasm, and encouragement mean the world to us. Sit back and prepare to be immersed in the world of our imagination. Welcome to the College of the North Atlantic 2023 Final Film Festival. Sit back and enjoy the show. Thank you. Walaliok. Merci. Dalo. Obrigado. Bye-bye.
You're probably wondering why I called you all here.
Did you solve Christoph's murder? Come on, shouldn't you found something by now?
You've been investigating for weeks.
Richard? You were Christoph's number 2 in a smuggling operation. Now, you're running the show. Zachary? You and Christoph were both in love with Suzanne. With him dead, you were free to pursue your heart's desire. Suzanne? You were the sole beneficiary of Christoph's life insurance policy. Now you're on easy street.
Sounds to me like any one of us could have done
Indeed. Any one of you could have done it. But last night I found the final piece of the puzzle.
Oh yeah? What's that?
Line.
Hi. I didn't see you there. My name is Halen Pittman. I'm a student at the Digital Filmmaking Program here at CNA. My film is A Deal with God. A Deal with God is a short horror film about a girl named Leslie Jones whose teacher goes missing and she tries to find out where he is. However, things aren't all what they seem, as it seems a higher power is at play.
So, how'd the search go?
Not great. I left early. It's the same shit as last time. They're not looking hard enough.
When was the last time he was seen?
Yesterday, but he didn't show up for school, didn't call in or anything. That's weird for him.
Yeah, Mr. Arbuckle never miss days. Still kinda too early to tell though, isn't it?
I don't know. The news isn't saying much. There's rumors he was seen screaming down by the church, though. And one of his close friends reported him missing. I don't really know the details, but apparently he vanished right outside their house.
Yeah, but if those are just rumors, I wouldn't worry about it, Leslie. It's not your responsibility. Just let the police handle it.
The police? After what happened last time? All they've done is talk to Victor and Mr. Arbuckle's friend. I can't just sit around and do nothing. I owe it to him after everything he did for me.
Sounds like it's more than just that, Les.
Whatever. I have to at least try to look for Mr. Arbuckle. That way, no matter what happens, I can say I tried and maybe it'll make a difference. Somebody has to try.
So, you're going to the woods tonight?
That's where everybody else is going, but I'm thinking we cast a wider net. I have some other ideas.
Oh, Miss Jones, what a nice surprise.
I hope it's okay. The front door was open.
That's fine. Come on in. It's a shame about Clifford Arbuckle, eh?
Yes, that's kind of why I'm here. I heard the police talk to you.
Leslie, what are you planning?
I was part of the search party, but I just feel like they're looking in the wrong places. I was hoping you could help me.
Well, you were certainly right to come to me. As I imagine you've probably heard, I was there. So I'm a little more reliable than, say, Dolores down the road or Tommy working the bar. I was sitting right where you are. Mr. Arbuckle.
Father, tell everyone to get out. Leave town while they still can. God can't save us. Not anymore. There are people in this town far worse than the devil.
Clifford,
Sinners. No one can save us unless they get far away from here. Far, far away.
By the time I got my coat on and went outside to look for him, he'd vanished. I don't mean to slander the man, but it was no secret that Clifford Arbuckle was a recreational drug user. He probably just had a bad trip and ran off. I hate to tell you this, Leslie, I truly do, but there isn't much else we can do. Just hopefully he turns up.
I can't just do nothing. Even if it was drugs, Mr. Arbuckle still deserves our help.
Leslie, is there something more going on here?
You can't deny this feels a lot like what happened with Jake.
I understand your struggle. I do, more than anyone else. Did you know that the night that Jake disappeared, I was actually planning on calling him and inviting him to dinner? I thought that maybe if I had, then maybe he wouldn't have ended up on that road, but there's no sense dwelling. They found him too late. Just take comfort in the fact that he loved you and try to move on. And as for Mr. Arbuckle, it's the same thing. There's nothing either of us can do, so just... What do you say we leave it at a higher authority?
Like God?
Well, I was thinking the police, but yeah, him too. So is there anything else you wanted to catch up on? Or?
Actually, I need to rejoin the search party. Thanks for the talk. I'm outside Morgan Mayfield's house.
You crazy bitch. You actually did it.
Morgan was the last person to see Mr. Arbuckle, and it was him who reported him missing. I'm looking at my map, and it looks like Clifford came straight here after the church.
But didn't you say that was like 3 hours afterwards?
According to Victor, Mr. Arbuckle left on foot.
If he wanted to leave town so bad, why didn't he just get in his car?
Well, if what Victor said is true, then he was probably on drugs and had the good sense not to drive.
Les, I think you should quit while you're ahead.
Not when I've come this far.
Then please, just promise me you'll be careful. Don't play Sherlock Holmes.
Why? Don't you want to be my Watson?
If only I was still there. I just don't want you winding up missing too. It's late. Get home. I'll chat with you later. Love you, girl.
Love you too, girl. Mr. Mayfield? I'm a student of Clifford Arbuckle's.
I know you. You're Jones's kid. You lost your boyfriend in that hit and run last year. I'm sorry.
Don't be. You didn't do anything.
I guess you want to know about Clifford then.
This isn't morbid curiosity. I'm looking for him too. I need to know what you saw, maybe help point the search party in the right direction.
It happened right over there.
Clifford, what's going on?
You have to hide me, Morgan. At least for a couple of hours. They're after me.
Who is?
A group of men. They're trying to kill me, Morgan. I think I'm losing my mind.
Who's after you? Did they see you come here?
Right, maybe. I can't hide here. My sanctuary. I've got to get to my sanctuary.
I'm calling the police.
No, don't. That'll only make them angrier.
And that's it. I haven't seen or heard from him since. The police say you have to wait 24 hours before he's officially a missing person or something.
Can you repeat that again?
Repeat what?
What he told you.
He said some people were after him and he had to go find his sanctuary. Look, kid, go home. It's nice that you care about your teacher, but I don't really know what's going on here, and I don't think you do either.
Reverend Wormwood said he might have been on drugs.
Maybe. But I know Clifford, and I don't think he was messing around. We should leave this in the hands of the search party.
You're cheating on me. All the time. You're out for like hours at a time. I have no idea where you are. Friends, really? What are these friends? Who are they?
I don't know.
Why don't I know them? Really? Yeah.
You can't blame yourself.
I know.
Do you, though? Really?
It's just so hard. When he didn't answer my calls, I was sure he was just ghosting me. So I stayed home waiting for him to come back. By the time I heard he was missing, it was too late.
None of that is your fault, Leslie. Trust me. I've been there. When Betty died, I was overcome with grief. I had nowhere to turn. Do you know what helped?
Lying in bed and crying all day.
I tried that. And when I was done with that, I visited Lord's Creek. You ever been to the old high school that's out there? Betty and I went to that school together. It's shut down now. They're trying to turn it into some government offices or something. And there's not much to it. There's no reception. There's no distractions of our modern world, but it's so peaceful. The field behind the school became my sanctuary. And maybe that's what you need too, a place where you can heal and forgive yourself.
A sanctuary. Oh my God, I'm so stupid.
Did you go home?
No, well, yes, but I'm leaving again. I've got a good lead.
You've got to be kidding me.
Morgan thinks men might have been chasing him.
Jesus Christ, Leslie. If that's true, you need to stay out of this.
But the search party's making a massive mistake. They saw he went from the church to Morgan's house and just assumed he'd keep going straight on that path, so they're searching John's woods.
So?
He told Morgan he needed to find his sanctuary. I know where that is. It's the old high school in Lord's Creek.
Okay, Les. Good for you. Now give that info to the search party.
John's woods is too far out. The reception's terrible where they are.
Well then, call the police, give them the information, and stay home.
Yeah, I guess you're right.
So, you're not going out?
I'll call the police, and then I'll turn in for the night.
You promise?
Yeah, I'll follow up with them tomorrow.
I know it's hard, but it's the right thing to do.
Bye.
Bye.
Leslie, wait! You may think that what we are doing is wrong, but you need to hear me out.
You killed him!
No, dear girl. Not us. God did.
What?
There are a select few of us in this town who have been blessed with a gift. Messengers of God. We hear his voice and we obey his command, fulfilling his duties. And in return, he grants our wishes. Don't you get it? Jake didn't deserve to die like that. Hit by that car, left to die in that ditch, unable to call for anyone. I always thought it was part of God's plan, until he spoke to me. Now the plan has changed. A soul for a soul. A deal with God. Don't you want him back, Leslie? You need Jake, and Jake needs you. You're intertwined. Don't you see? Don't fret, child. Nothing can kill me. Blood is of no matter to me. God never truly allows suffering of his believers. He saves them. As this man departs, my brother returns. Witness the miracle of God's chosen. My name is Legion. for we are many.
Hey loves, I'm Michael Jackman, and the documentary you're about to watch is called Not a Celebrity. I spent time with student actor James Squires to understand what it is like to be an actor. Sit down and buckle up, because this is my documentary. Who is James Squires?
James Squires likes learning and making people laugh. That's most of what I know.
I think that's important.
Yeah, it really is.
It's about the art in you and not you in the art. But you have to have an appreciation and a love for the art in order to flourish as a professional artist.
Everyone likes to tell you, you know, you're going to get a real job and be an actor on the side, right? That's something everyone likes to tell you when you say you're going to be an actor. Then there's sort of the realization that acting is a real job. And some people don't have that realization, so I'm glad I got a chance to figure that out.
What are your thoughts on celebrity status?
I think it's luck. I think it's luck. A lot of people say they work harder and they try a lot harder. Everyone aspires for that. In our industry, it's that, you know, when you first want to become an actor, it's obviously something, and no one can say it's not. It's something that's in you that where you're like, I want the attention, I want to be remembered, I want the fame. And I think it's luck. I don't think it's important because...
Success is not about the size of your bank account. I think it's about feeling that satisfaction of a job well done and being part of something very magical and special.
Coffee, Doctor?
Oh, fine. Have a Camel with your coffee. Thanks. You know, this night work's kind of rough, isn't it? That's right. But a Camel's always a pleasure.
Hi, my name is Sherry Sharp. I'm a personal care attendant at the Bay St. George Long-Term Care Center for the past 16 years. I'm a wife, mother, and grandmother. The first time I had a cigarette, I was at cadet camp. I was only 13 years old. I got sick afterwards, but it didn't stop me from trying it again. My friends were doing it, so I thought it was cool, and I continued to do so.
Raw tobacco contains nicotine, and it contains other substances. And when it's burned, it releases the nicotine into a gas, which makes it possible for someone to inhale. Nicotine that enters the bloodstream through the lungs hits the brain much faster, and it's kind of more of a drug hit.
The last time I quit smoking, I was doing really well, and I had quit for 2.5 years, and I had a traumatic experience. My daughter had botulism and was put on a ventilator here at the hospital in Stephenville and transferred to Corner Brook. So I somehow managed to race the ambulance to the hospital in Corner Brook. And when I got there, I was looking for her MCP card in her purse, and I found a pack of cigarettes. And I took one and I smoked it. And the events, as it unfolded, she got worse. They didn't know she was going to make it. She ended up being airlifted to St. John's. And I kept turning to the cigarettes to get me through because I was so stressed out.
What's in the vape juice and what's in the cigarette aren't really the problem. It's what happens after they're heated. So the chemicals in the vape juice are not the same as the chemicals that you inhale because they've gone through a heating process. In the same way that the leaf, the cut up leaf in a cigarette is not what you inhale the smoke from it. So you have to look at the emissions when you're looking at the harm caused. There's not a lot of studies on the emissions from vape products, and they vary very much one from the other. Each flavoring has a different kind of chemical compound. The basic ingredients are propylene glycol and nicotine and different types of nicotine, and those in themselves cause harm when they're inhaled. And propylene glycol is not recommended to be inhaled at any, over a long period of time. most of the compounds that are in the flavorings have been tested for safety if they're ingested, like if they're in a food additive. Like if you use the flavoring to make butterscotch pudding, it's established that it probably won't hurt you if you eat it. But you don't normally inhale the flavors that make butterscotch pudding. And so there hasn't been much science in what happens if you inhale those compounds. And that's why there really is such a knowledge void. We really don't know. And where the controversy comes is people say, well, we know how harmful cigarettes are, and we believe that e-cigarettes are safer. Therefore, the safe thing to do is to try and encourage smokers to switch to this other product. And other people say, well, we don't know, and in the absence of knowledge, we should not assume that they are meaningfully safer, especially when we know that there's another course of action that definitely is safer, which is to stop smoking cigarettes.
I had people suggest vaping to me to quit smoking. So I tried it, but I didn't like it myself. I found it made my lungs feel tighter and it was harder to breathe than when I was smoking cigarettes.
Switching to vaping is probably safer than continuing smoking. It's certainly much more harmful than quitting smoking altogether. Our concern is that most people who use vaping products to try to quit actually end up using both products. So the question is not just should you do it, but the question is also what it's most likely to happen if you try to do it. And that's why we encourage people to try conventional stop smoking medications first, and for them to be in contact with a healthcare provider before they attempt to use e-cigarettes to quit smoking.
Years ago, people thought nothing of smoking in their houses, their vehicles, and I was one of them. I smoked in my home. And my daughter became sick, and she was having trouble with breathing and cough and stuff. And when I brought her to the doctor, it turned out she had asthma. So she was getting sick because of my smoking in the house.
One of the risks of secondhand smoke were for heart disease, and so when people are exposed kind of in recent times, and some of the risks are for cancer. So the risks for heart disease tend to disappear more quickly. So I would think that there are fewer heart disease deaths than there were before. There may be the same number of cancer deaths, but 20 years ago, there were about 1,000 Canadians died a year from secondhand smoke. And I really don't have more recent epidemiological studies than that, but I would be very surprised if it's that high. But it's still, if it's not that high, it's because people by and large are being protected from secondhand smoke. It's a significant cost. A large part of the price of cigarettes is tax, so governments receive a fair amount of tax from smokers. But generally speaking, it would be $100 a week at least.
I spend about $120 a week in cigarettes.
Vaping laws are managed in Canada by both the federal government and by provincial governments. And some provincial governments have taken stronger action than others. For example, in the Atlantic region, New Brunswick, Nova Scotia, Prince Edward Island, all ban the sale of e-cigarettes that have any flavor other than tobacco flavor. So you can only buy tobacco flavored e-cigarettes. The problem is that other provinces allow the sale of flavored tobacco, and so people in provinces of Nova Scotia, New Brunswick, and Prince Edward Island just buy them online, from another province. And then with respect to selling to youth, instead of them buying them in the corner store, they buy them from social sources or from retailers or someone who just makes a business from selling them, in the schoolyard. So those laws, provincial laws, aren't as effective in the absence of a national approach. The government the legalization of these drugs only happened 2018, not even 5 years ago. So the government has brought in a number of measures to try and reduce the problem. The federal government decreased the amount of nicotine that could be in them. It decreased the amount of promotions that there could be. It required a modest health warning, and it's looking at a few other measures. But clearly, at this point, it's not sufficient because as every high school principal will tell you, there's a lot of youth vaping across Canada. after the law was changed in Canada in 2018, the tobacco companies introduced products that were far more focused at young people. And it wasn't just the liquids that were more designed with young people with higher doses of nicotine and a kind of nicotine that was easier to inhale. Salted nicotine is easier to inhale than the nicotine that was in the earlier forms. But also the devices were smaller, they were discreet, they are much, much cheaper. So for a kid who's looking for some kind of, thrill, an e-cigarette became, or vaping device became a real, very easy product to use. Cheap to buy, easy to hide from your parents, didn't smell as much, so nobody would know you were using it. You could turn it on quickly or turn it off quickly just for a few seconds, and when your teacher wasn't looking. You could use it, in ways that were not seen by other people. I think that's part of their marketing. And I think that the tobacco companies, I know that the tobacco companies have sold these products at a price lower than the cost it was to them to develop them and market them. They're not making money on them at the moment. And that's a corporate tactic that's been used by other large companies to kind of drive the competition out of the market to ensure that they have a greater proportion. But what it means is that young people and non-smokers are kind of being encouraged to use these products, and that the company is making it affordable enough for them to become addicted now, knowing that they will remain customers for many years to come. The most real answer to the question, why are governments continuing to allow the sale of tobacco products knowing how dangerous they are, is that they have never been asked forcefully by their societies to change that. There's never really been a campaign to end the sale of tobacco. There's never been a campaign to, to phase tobacco out in the way that we are phasing out, say, greenhouse gas emissions or other products. It's interesting to me that the Canadian government intends to get rid of the internal combustion engine in passenger vehicles by the year 2040, but it has no plans to get rid of the combustible cigarette. Nicotine addiction is in the brain. It is a recognized disease. It's not an easy disease to overcome.
I've tried everything. My advice to any young person out there that is thinking about picking up smoking, don't do it. Don't start it. It is horrible. It'll be horrible on your health. It's expensive. It's a big, huge waste of money. Stay away from it. Because quitting is hard once you start. So the best thing you can do is not start.
Hi, my name is Andrew Musgrave. I'm a graduating student from the College of the North Atlantic, and my film is The Library of Terror. It's a short horror comedy about a student who is doing research for a paper, and he's besieged by supernatural forces in the library.
Alright, so I was able to get the tickets. Do you have much else to do? I kinda wanted to be there by 8.
Yeah, I can make that. I just need a couple more books for this research paper.
Okay, just do me a favor and let...
Sam? Sam, you there? Hello? Are you guys shutting down? Hello? Who are you?
I am the ghost of citations past.
I see.
I'm here to warn you to never have incomplete citations in your essay.
Okay.
You should use this.
Thanks very much.
I am the ghost of grammar present.
Right.
I'm here to warn you about the importance of good grammar for your essay.
Mm-hmm.
You may find this helpful.
Thanks. Now, if you'll excuse me, I gotta get back to my... Holy motherfucking shit! What?
I am the ghost of paper format future.
Of course you are.
I'm here to tell you that it's never too early to learn the proper format and structure for your essays. Just use the...
Oh, hey.
Hello.
You're not one of the ghosts, are you?
Ghosts?
Yeah.
Of course not.
Ugh, so you must be one of the librarians here.
Nope.
So who are you?
I'm a serial killer.
A what?
Hey, my name is Charlie, and I'm presenting my documentary Boba Dreams about a boba tea shop here in Stephenville that has been opened up by a small family business. I think it's pretty interesting, and I hope you enjoy.
My name is Sean White, and I'm part of the Real Canadian Sari Sari. That is, my wife and I operate a business here locally. We started with the signature product, the bubble tea, and the reason why we went with that, we wanted to start a company that sold this, and I knew it would be a hit. It's really a delicious dessert beverage. We had to first find a place to operate from, and that wasn't so much of a challenge because it came at a time when the pandemic had a lot of businesses closed up and stuff like that. We found a spot, it was fairly decent, so there wasn't much of a challenge there. Bubble tea is a new product, and it comes from Asia, so it's huge over there. It's popular in Korea, Japan, all over China, and it's well known. But here in this small town, I didn't think anybody would really know about it. So at the start, I thought, okay, we're gonna really have to promote this, give free samples and stuff like that. But when news got out that we had a bubble tea business here in town, it was just flat out because people already knew. There's a whole demographic, I guess, probably teenagers, young adult, that already know the culture. You know, they're huge into the animation that's from Japan, and like it's a culture thing. So they already knew it, and all of a sudden we're so busy, and yeah, that was really rewarding too. So people already knew, and it's mostly the young, but it's not limited. We got senior citizens that come here together, couples that'll come in for their favorite one, and they're regulars too. Online presence was really a big marketing strategy for us when we started. We also, you know, will offer promotions and feature products that gets people in too. But some of the other initiatives we took trying to be part of the community was, like, for example, there's been times where they close off Main Street and do a multicultural event. So in those instances, we'll go up and set up a booth and bring our product direct to people. So now they're up there listening to Jigs and Reels, they can get a bubble tea and enjoy it, learn about our company, and so we've approached it that way. Angelita is my wife's name, and we got a little boy named JC. So together we run this thing, and that itself is so rewarding for my wife. The bubble tea was kind of a side thing. I'm like, remember how we used to enjoy those? I bet they'll take off here. But grocery was really her dream. So now that she's doing this, it's an amazing experience. We didn't have the inventory or the money to purchase. Looking at bubble tea, that was a market that we could actually capture with our savings without really going outside to look for loans and stuff. So we were able to do it, and that's why we kind of launched with that. It's always a challenge. We get it on the mainland and have it trucked in. The logistics is always a nightmare. They never tell us when they're coming. They sometimes show up in the middle of the night, and then I've got to scramble and figure out how to move frozen goods and store them and things like that. You know, of course, doing a family business with a little child, that has some challenges in its own. Here we are in his studio today. He's a big part of the business, so while we're operating, he's in here grinding away. He's a creative little guy, and that's what we wanted. I mean, owning a grocery store and a bubble tea shop was important to us, but having the ability to spend quality time as a family was really where it's at. And, you know, we don't need a lot of daycare because he's right there with us, learning how to be a businessman, you know? Any challenge we met has been a positive.
Hi, my name is Will. The title of my final movie is Frogs. It's an experimental piece that I did here at the college. I did it with only 2 other people, Charlie and my husband Will. It's a surrealistic piece. There's not much more that I can say about it other than enjoy.
昔、大阪のある池に1匹のカエルが住んでいた。この大阪のカエルは毎日同じ仕事の繰り返しに嫌気がさし、仕事を投げ出して隣の池へ向かった。大阪のカエルがどこか面白いところがないものかと考えて京へ向かうことにした。大阪のカエルは京へ向かって飛び続け、やがて大阪と京の境目にあたるだい。ただいま。これをきれいにしてもらえますか？
There's no water.
いつ直しますか？
I did.
赤ちゃんはあなたが歌っていないと言いました。
He's 12 and
赤ちゃんは彼がしようとしていると言いました。この匂いは何ですか？
I don't want to hear it.
それは私ではありません。
He has to learn. He has to learn how to wash his feet.
あなたは何を見ている？
Nothing.
He'll be here any minute now.
夕食の準備ができました。
I'm making a call.
彼に真実を明らかにする。
Kan jag leka ute?
あなたは待つことができます。
Kan du leka med mig?
学校はどうだった？
Bra.
宿題は終わりましたか？
Ja.
6×4 は何ですか？
18.
食べに行く？ もしもし。
Fala, como está indo?
間違った番号。今日は
Seu freezer está funcionando.
電気代は払いません。
É de graça.
どんな天気ですか？
Úmido.
私は注意する必要があります。
Ele não é permitido.
Is that a new dress? I can't find my keys.
Jag saknar att komma i tid till skolan.
Is it your best friend?
Vi ser inte öga mot öga.
The list on the fridge can't get any bigger.
Jag kommer.
Mas que má sorte, não é mesmo? Sem noção e com medo. Eu costumava ser assim, sabe? Eu não sei o que aconteceu com eles. Francamente, eu não poderia dizer, mas levantou muitas perguntas. Não concorda? Muitas perguntas. Curtiu isso?
Is everything all right?
Live music.
There's a bug on the porch.
Få mig att skratta, snälla.
新鮮なブラインシュリンプはいかがですか？
I'm good.
Hi everyone, my name is Mimi. The title of my final film is Torn. It is centered around domestic violence. It's about a young woman who seeks therapy from an unperturbed therapist, only to get blamed for being abused. Can't say anymore, sit tight and enjoy. Bye.
Emma, could we go over exactly what happened in detail?
It wasn't always like this, you know? He was the most charming, romantic man I ever met. He complimented me all the time. It made me feel comfortable around him that I did anything he wanted just to seek that validation. I knew he had a really short temper, but I chose to ignore that side of him, despite seeing the red flags. A couple months back, he lost his job, and everything changed. He got irritated at the slightest things. He'd call me all sorts of names, tell me how useless I was. And I never said a word, because I loved him too much, and he loved me too. So I thought, at least he wasn't hitting me. He'd reassure me afterwards and apologize and tell me that it was because he loved me. And I forgave him.
And just how did that make you feel?
To me, it was just a phase that I was sure would pass. But it didn't. Rather, it got worse to the extent that I believed every word he said to me. And then he started hitting me. I wanted to run away and leave him, but I couldn't. Who would I run to? He ruined the relationship I had with my mom and all my friends. My mom warned me, however, but he somehow managed to convince me to stop visiting her and taking her calls or the calls from all my friends. He'd take my phone and go through my messages as he pleased. He made me believe that the very people that I cared about were the reason for our problems, and of course I listened to him. He never failed to remind me that I was his property, and he could do whatever he wanted to me. He wanted me for himself alone, and he cut me out of everything except for him.
Love you the way that I love you. Something's bloody and useless. You're mine, mine.
My life, my dreams, my desires took 1,000 steps backwards just to make him happy. He controlled every aspect of my life, including my finances. He said that if I refused to listen to him, that he would leave me. And he convinced me that no man would ever love me the way that he did. I was scared he would actually leave for good. And I did as he wanted. Even that wasn't enough for him.
So what did you do? Please go on, Emma.
I had thought about leaving the marriage again, but this time I found out that I was 6 weeks pregnant. I didn't want my child to grow up without a father like I did. He knew this, but it didn't stop him from hitting me. Many times he'd lock me in a closet, sometimes for a few hours, sometimes for over a day. no food or water, and I couldn't even use a cell phone to call for help. One evening I was chatting and he immediately assumed that I was cheating on him. God, he hit me so hard that I bled a lot. I lost my baby. The very thing that I swore to protect because of that monster.
Did it ever occur to you that there might have been some things you probably did to provoke or trigger that side of it? Never occurred to you might have done something to trigger that side of it? Never occurred to you might have done something to trigger that side of it?
Emma, our session is just about up and you said no. Why don't you gather your thoughts for our session next week?
Maybe because I already know how this ends. I've had enough of the constant belittling from people like yourself who are best at pointing fingers and blaming the victim. Religions of the world sit as a mighty rock telling women to stay in an abusive relationship and remain calm because the second something goes wrong, you have to fix it and it is your fault. You don't care. You haven't cared since I started coming here. Nobody takes the time to learn the truth of the situation and they just turn a blind eye. I've had enough. Hi, my name is Emma Adams. I'd like to report a crime.
The Digital Filmmaking Program at the College of the North Atlantic is a 2-year, hands-on program where students learn the art of making films through making films. Located in Stephenville, Newfoundland and Labrador, an ideal location for film and video activity. With so many backdrops from oceans and beaches to mountains and cliffs, allowing you the freedom to be creative and to tell your stories. And right in your backyard is the Theatre Arts program at Memorial University's Grenfell campus, with aspiring actors as hungry as you are to gain experience.
Hello? Could you wait for me?
And now, a new articulation agreement allows graduates of the Digital Filmmaking Program the option to earn a Bachelor of Fine Arts degree in the Technical Theatre Production Program within 2 years at Memorial University.
So, this is what the past looks like.
Oh, my friend, that is the future.
The Digital Filmmaking Program offers courses in directing, cinematography, grip and electrics, art direction, editing, compositing, color correction, production and post-production audio, live television, and webcasting, as well as a number of industry standard certifications, with a focus on training filmmakers and industry technicians to gain the skills and experience needed to work in the ever-growing film industry. Students of the Digital Filmmaking Program individually produce a number of short narrative films, music videos, and documentaries, as well as 2 group films during the intersession semesters.
Recitation project, Scene 1 Alpha, Take 6.
The intersession semester in the Digital Filmmaking Program is an exciting one, where both first and second year students work alongside their instructors and a director to produce and present a short film. They are involved in the entire process, from developing and writing the script to filming, editing, and premiering the film to a live audience at the end of the semester. The film industry has seen significant growth in Newfoundland and Labrador, with $50 million in production activity a year. More productions means a need for more crew. So if you're ready for an exciting, adventurous, and creative career, the Digital Filmmaking Program is just what you need.
What's about a named Rooster? You seen him?
Cut! That was awesome, you guys. Back to 1. Sean, that was great. We're going to get you to do it again this time.
Sims, what's all the commotion?
My apologies, Mr. Cormack, but I don't have all day.
Good morning to you as well. What's this about?
A letter from John Stark. Matter of great urgency.
Dear Cormac, this note will I trust be handed to you by the Red Indian Shanawdithit herself. She asked me if you had any family. I told her that when I left St. John's you were single, but that I could not tell how long you would remain so. Above all things, I request you will get her vaccinated by Dr. Carson upon the very day she reaches St. John's. Pray let nothing prevent this. Yours faithfully, John Stark.
Red Indian? This woman is Beothuk?
That's correct. She will be in your care now, right?
I suppose. Does she speak?
Either she can't, or I'm not of her liking. She hasn't made a peep since I've picked her up.
Shanawdithit? That's your name, young lady?
They've been calling her Nancy. Nancy April. That's her name now.
What is the woman supposed to be? Your drawing. It's quite nice. What is it? May I see it? Is the robe important? What's it for?
Zaplachia.
Oh, dancing?
Dancing.
Is it some kind of celebration, a special occasion of some kind? Celebrations, gatherings? Fascinating. This is about the expedition we were talking about the other evening. The one with Captain Buchan. Buchan started as a celebration. White men in your camp.
Camp?
I'd like to know what happened. Your camp. What happened? They killed those men. You admit it. Your people killed those 2 men. Why? Did those men, the white men, other men, had they been to your camp before? Many more times, I assume. Listen, Nancy, my intention is not to judge you. I merely wish to understand why. Why did your people attack? I remember another expedition that happened years after Buchan's. Why don't we talk about that? You must remember it. A search party, led by white men. They took Mary March to become a translator. She was your relative, correct? Mary March? One of you. They took. Woman.
To Mastuit?
Greetings. My name is John Payton. We're looking for supplies. We've come to reclaim them. Enough. Calm down. Supplies. Did you steal them from us? Just search the tent. We'll take the supplies and leave. No. That woman over there. We'll take her back with us and teach her English, and she'll come back and be a translator next time.
Yes, sir. What's she doing?
She's breastfeeding. She's a mother. He's rushing us!
It's okay. It's okay. We can call this a day. We'll do this another time when you feel up to it. Okay? When you feel good? Good?
Good night.
Good night. You do have quite the appetite, don't you, Nancy? Nancy, slow down. You might choke. Are you feeling good, Nancy? Are you good? It's been a while since we talked about your people. Would you mind if we get back to that subject? Your people and the white men. The white men. Mary March. The men in your camp that took her and killed her husband.
Yes.
Yes?
Yes. Child too.
The men killed Mary's baby?
Shanawdithit.
Killed her child. Died of illness. Because both parents were gone.
Yes.
Mary March. She was captured to be a translator to make this process easier. Talking. She was taught some English. Like you. What else have you got in your drawings? Exploits River. This wasn't when Mary March was captured. What's going on in this image?
Shanawdithit.
They returned again? Did they bring Shanawdithit with them?
Yes.
Guanalia guando daya hey. Guanalia guando de. Guanalia guando de. Guanalia guando daya hey. Hey oh. Ego, Igande, Ego, Iganda, Guandalia, Guandodaya, hey. Guanalia guando de. Guanalia guando de. Guanalia guando da ya hey hey oh. Hey oh
She died. Mary March. She died on the way to your village. Buchan. They didn't kill her. You know that. She died of illness. How many of your people are left? Your people. You don't know? What about Charles?
Been a while, Mr. Cormac. How's the Indian woman?
Fine. What's this about?
Another urgent matter.
I see.
I presume about your situation?
Yes.
And?
It will be going ahead.
So our previous talk is going ahead?
Yes, but not right now. I have things I have to take care of first.
She seems healthy enough.
Eating as she does, I don't see how she couldn't.
Hello?
Good day.
Nancy, you remember Mr. Sims. He's an important and respectable man. Like a chief. Chief?
William, let me know when you're ready to leave, and I'll have the arrangements made.
Thank you, Mr. Sims. It's best that we end here for today. Your people, they were dying of illness and starvation. When you turned yourself in, there were few Beothuk left. And when I had found your camp later, there was nothing left. But that's been years ago. Nothing else happened between then? I guess that brings us full circle. I have some things I'd like you to pack.
Good night. Dancing.
This is it, Mr. Sims.
What have you there?
All of my findings, all of my notes, everything from the last few months. Please take this to John Stark. He'll know what to do with it. For now, I'm going to head off and continue my research at the burial sites.
But you have a live Indian here. Can't your studies remain in St. John's?
Funds are low. Finding these remains may be the only way to continue my research. We can learn so much from the burial sites. Besides, she'll be here when I get back.
Where is she anyway?
Nancy! This is it, my dear. It's been a pleasure knowing you. Goodbye, Shanwa. Goodbye, Nancy.
Shanawdithit, A Beothuk Story is a film about Aboriginals.
In this film, Shanawdithit is from one of the Beothuk tribes in Newfoundland.
Throughout the film, she's sharing her experiences with William Cormack so he can collect this information.
It's always been a story we kind of wanted to tell. It's a very challenging film to try to make.
It is a film that is meant to help differentiate the colonial history that we've all been taught and to teach us who Shanawdithit really was and her importance in Indigenous history. This film came to be from one of the students and a very close friend of mine, Halen Pittman.
The story of Shanawdithit and the Beothuk as a whole has always been super important to me. And when trying to think of kind of a historical piece that we could tell for the intercession film, I thought, what better than the story of Shanawdithit and the last few of her people that we know about.
Because we were doing the story of Shanawdithit, we definitely needed to hire an Indigenous filmmaker. That was a must.
When he first came to our program several years ago, it didn't take me very long to realize that he was going to be a great director.
Eric is the perfect person.
With this story in particular, it was very important that we did our due diligence and did the proper research that we needed.
We're going back to 1829. Not an easy task.
So we've been talking to archaeologists, we've been talking to Indigenous leaders. The whole research group has been gathering data and documents for the last 6 months.
You know, then in terms of what we interpret from that, we have to be very careful, right? A lot of what we think of those maps or whatever are what Cormac wrote down, right? So I mean, some of that could be wrong, for all we know, you know.
We had meetings with groups like the Beothuk Institute, and every piece of information we were given impacted the story in some way.
We even talked to Chief Marcel Joe, the man who went to the UK to bring back the remains of the Mastwit and Nono Sabasit.
Well, if you're going back and doing research, you'll find all the writings that's been done has been written by colonizers, including...
In doing the research that we did, we found that there was so much information and so much misinformation about the Beothuk people and their history.
Growing up, we were always taught that Mary March was the last Beothuk, and through our research, it became clear very soon that she was not, in fact, the last Beothuk. The last one that we know about that's been documented is actually her niece, Shanawdithit.
There are groups out right now who are researching the ancestry of the Beothuk and people who are today in this world that may have Beothuk ancestry.
When I was in high school, all I learned about the Beothuk was that the Europeans came, they found these savages, and then they all died of tuberculosis because they weren't immune to it. End of story. That's all I learned.
For the longest time, the story told in high schools across the province was that the Mi'kmaq were brought over to kill the Beothuks by the Europeans. That's what was being told to children.
I was so impressed with the amount of research that went into this project.
I'm glad that our team reached out to Indigenous people and associations to get our Indigenous side of the story.
One of the main appeals of producing a period piece is the production design.
As the art director, the research gave me a ground zero to build the world through the art.
As we were having these meetings about the script, I would often think about how the bigger elements would fit into the design of the film.
Originally, we had gun stocks from our trip to STF. But sadly, our attempts to build a gun from scratch fell through. In our search through our props closets, we actually found a prop gun, so I repainted it to fit the era. It is one of my favorite pieces.
Well, design elements that had to be sort of considered to make sure the set looked like it existed in the 1800s was stuff like half the wall is just sort of wainscoting all the way across, and then stuff like the sconces, right, like lighting on the walls. They're like glass jars with candles in it. The wooden framing around the windows. These are the elements that really bring together the older feeling of the house.
For the Beothuk, what we found out was that their clothing came in different pieces. So they would have a sleeve piece, they would have leg pieces, and the cloakish piece would be tied on with a belt. Galen Buckle is a treat to work with. We had to hire on a master seamstress to build the Beothuk clothing. She's super positive, and she's been a seamstress for a very long time, and she was very quick to modify the Beothuk costumes for whatever we needed.
The production design on this film was absolutely incredible. The students went at it with a vengeance.
How do I feel about the cast as a whole? Just thinking about that question, I'm getting shivers.
Our two leads for this film were Violet Cummings as Shanawdithit and Andrew Hibbets as William Cormack.
Working with Andrew was very fun. Me and Andrew, from the very first time we met at the first rehearsal, we clicked immediately, and I remember being very nervous coming into it, and he was just so funny and accepting and really made me feel a lot more comfortable.
There were so many points during filming that I was actually blown away by her talent. I remember at one point when we filmed a particular scene, after she finished and we cut, everybody just erupted into applause at her performance. I mean, it was so genuine and so heartbreaking.
I thought I had instigated the clap. Eric thought he had instigated the clap. And Keith, who was in a completely different room, thought he had instigated the clap.
She had 22 words total, and somehow she expressed so much character and so much personality. I genuinely don't think we could have had a better actress for the role. With Andrew Hibbets, he took direction incredibly well, and he brought the ambiguity that I was looking for to the film.
I can't say enough great things about Eric. He was really a comfort. It was incredible to listen to what he had envisioned for this movie.
With Sims, I wanted sort of a little cameo. I wanted to get the previous intercession director, John McKinnon, because he was also the director for me when I was in film school.
I played Attorney General Sims in the film, and I am in charge of bringing Shanawdithit to William Cormack. I'm a no-nonsense type character, had a lot of fun playing it, and yeah, it was truly a great experience.
He brought more anger than I anticipated, but like, I think it worked. John really encapsulated the mentality of a colonial man at that time in history. With the other actors we had, Ian Locke and Julia Blanchard, they brought very strong performances to one of the most emotionally taxing scenes in the entire thing.
That scene was just so emotional, and the performances by Ian Locke and by Julia Blanchard, just amazing.
All around, just a perfect cast. Like, are you feeling good? Do you think you might be good to do a take now?
Sure.
Working with Eric White was also amazing. He always made me feel so comfortable and like I was like a Hollywood star or something.
I'm so glad we hired Eric for this film, and he did a stellar job.
Yeah, it was very, very special to watch Eric go from the student to now the teacher, and for me to get to witness that, I'm very, very proud of him, and it was really special to see.
Watching Eric direct was a real thrill. Never once did I see him get rattled, and the actors just love him.
And this is a wrap on Violet!
Wrap on the 2023 intersection film!
If there's one thing to testament why this film got made, it's the students and their passion and their drive and their work ethic. Because without it, the film wouldn't have been finished.
They also took this extremely serious. The students realized the importance of this story. They realized the importance of getting it right.
Every student stepped up to the plate, and it was just remarkable how well they worked together.
Working on the intercession film was really fun. I learned a lot and spent a lot of time with some great people, and overall it was a good experience.
Some of my favorite moments were during our lunch and supper breaks, where we talked about the weirdest things, laughed like we had no care in the world, and just being goofy.
My experience working on the intercession film was a bit tiring and stressful, but I really enjoyed working with the crew. I feel like we worked together really well, and overall it was a pretty fun experience.
Being a student, it's very nice to have a whole crew of other students, and we all are learning things to do in the industry when we get out there for the roles we are provided.
I actually learned a lot. I was the boom operator. I work with the sound mixer, which is Haley and Keith. They show me a lot of stuff which I won't actually learn in class.
I think what the Digital Filmmaking Program in Stephenville does, no other film school in Canada can do what they do.
Travis, the compositor, he had a lot to do.
And I apologized to him in advance multiple times for what I had in store for him, because he had his work cut out for him.
It might not seem like an overly complex film when it comes to the post-production side of things, but it really is.
When Peter Buckle mentioned that there were going to be some VFX in this film, I offered to work with Travis Lucas, one of the students, to kind of develop those effects with him and oversee his work.
The intention behind the wide shot of the camp was to make the camp seem bigger than it actually was. So we had our camera guy up on a high platform. We'd roll the camera and we'd leave it roll for the whole duration. And then what would happen is myself and 4 other people would then get up, grab the Mammoth, and then move it to the next third. And then we'd position everybody for the next third. And then we'd shoot that, and then we'd do it again.
Going. Okay, stop.
So in post-production, what I did was I would have taken all 3 of those shots and then stitched them together.
We had to recreate a scene from downtown St. John's in the time. So I've been working with Travis, but also my co-workers, Aaron and Dave, to construct buildings and that are appropriate for that period.
With the St. John's composite shot, Peter had set up a monitor so that it looked like the houses were there when we were shooting. We take the shot and we put it in 3D software, and we have to now add the houses around them.
The perspective for these buildings has really got to match well, because if anything is slightly off, then you're going to look at the buildings and not the actors, and we don't want that.
We have to composite a couple of campfires. We have to deal with a fireplace. There's a whole lot of just cleaning up, like tape on the floor. You're going to paint that out. So as these shots come together, there's a real feeling of satisfaction.
When the audience watches it, hopefully they don't see any of it.
The importance of this film is to help share the story of the Indigenous people and get their story out, especially about the Beothuk. Many people don't know much about.
It tells the story of the Beothuk people, which is essentially a story that has been lost to time.
It's now more relevant than ever. When we're looking at truth and reconciliation, I think we need to take a look back.
I think just the fact that there's so much misconceptions about the Beothuk story as a whole, I think that makes for a really interesting piece.
This film is important because it was made with passion and with the intent to educate people on a very important history in Newfoundland.
It's a story that needed to be told, and telling it through the art of filmmaking is such a wonderful way to do it.
It is important to tell the story of Beothuk. A lot of people don't know. We're actually trying to tell them what happened in 1800.
This movie serves as a reminder of us as a society responsibility in confronting the consequences of colonization, so we can foster a better future, so we can try to build a more inclusive future.
So when you're looking at the Beothuk people, for many there is a giant hole in knowledge and emptiness, and this film is an entry point into that knowledge to unpack it.
It is also really important to me because I know for a fact that there are certain indigenous communities in Nigeria that have been through similar ordeals.
This has happened in other places. This has happened all around the world.
I think learning about the Beothuk is the primary way of showing respect.
It's about time we actually got to hear the other side of history.
I think time and time again, with all these colonial tragedies throughout history, we always see this element of negligence. Because even when there is good intentions on behalf of the colonizers, we still somehow always end up in the same place of the downfall of a people.
This story is very important to tell for multiple reasons, obviously. One, so history doesn't repeat itself, but also to give the Beothuk and Shanawdithit specifically a voice.
In general, I think Canada has a lot of dark stories that still need to be told. We're just scratching the surface.
Even though I'm not a Beothuk person, I'm Mi'kmaq, I get to help to spread Indigenous and Aboriginal culture. So to say that this film means a lot to me, I think is an understatement.